live on Instagram. And we are live with Desan Govender. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions, Desan. It's great to be chatting with you.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
So just before we went on air, we were chatting. You were telling me a little bit excited for the weekend, something special happening. And tell us about what's up this weekend, what you're going to be doing.
Okay, so I'm going to be competing at the Strongman event, SA's Strongest Man at NMI Commercial in Riverhouse Valley. That's the Nandi Drive in Durban. So pretty excited about that. It's my second SA event that I'm going to be competing in.
Right.
First one was in 2023. I placed third at the novice division. And this year's a big jump. I'm going to be competing with the pros.
Sure, absolutely. I got to give you one of these, man. That's absolutely phenomenal. Well, that's very, very cool. And what got you into strongman? Where did the journey start?
Believe it or not, I was watching ESPN back in the day when they had it on DSTV.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? One of these days I'm going to do this, and here I am today.
And okay, phenomenal. It has seemed to be something that's got quite a few of the athletes into strongman. So how did it go? What was the progression from watching that on DSTV, on ESPN, to sort of going, right, I'm getting into the gym, I'm going to start doing some of the strongman stuff. Tell us about that journey.
So, when I did watch it on TV, I was a bit too young to join the gym. But eventually, when I got to 16, 17, I got into the gym. I never really knew what I was doing, so I was just taking a bit of advice from everybody. And then the one day I met this guy, his name was JP Durant. And then he's like, you know, come over. I'm doing strongman at my place. Come and give it a try. And then ever since then, I've been hooked. And then got into it for about 2 or 3 years while he was here. And then things never really worked out. And then that fell away for a while until I met Jan Bota.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll meet him on Saturday.
Right.
And then I've been training with him for the past 3 or 4 years now.
Okay. How's the training been going?
It's been good. Been a bit tough this past month. Had the flu for 2 weeks, so I was out of training for 2 weeks.
It's been a rough
And
flu
then,
this year, huh?
no, it's been bad. I mean, I had it for the first week, and then I didn't train. And then when I got back into the gym for the second week, it just wasn't the same.
Yeah, it just
And
doesn't
then,
leave the same.
Yeah. Oh, and then now D-Days, yeah.
Okay, so you're feeling a little bit better, ready for Saturday?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, excellent. What was the experience like at your first competition? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I was a bit nervous. I didn't know what to expect. A lot of mixed emotions, you know, a lot of things that could have went differently, a lot of things that should have been different. But we learned from that and then carried forward.
100%. How valuable for an athlete is competition experience and time on the platform?
I'd say extremely valuable because as much as you can train, you don't really have that hunger to compete. So the more you compete, the more the hunger is there within you, and then it keeps you on top of your game.
Absolutely. You know, I think there's nothing that drives coaches more mad than an athlete who is capable saying, no, I'll compete when I can win, you know, rather than going in and getting the competition experience.
Exactly. I mean, there's no winning if you're not going to compete. You don't have the drive or the hunger to win. So,
and every competition's different, right?
Yes. Everyone has their different events and things there, but they more or less the rules come down to the same thing.
Yeah, that's it. And to push, what are there any sort of events that are favorites of yours?
I'm looking forward to the truck pull and the yoke and farmers.
Okay,
that's my favorites. Yeah.
Awesome. What is it about strongman that got you in? That's one thing, but what's kept you in the competition? What's kept you competing? What's kept you committed to the sport?
It is just the love for the sport. I mean,
Okay.
there's nothing else that makes me happier besides my girlfriend. Don't tell her that.
Okay.
um,
I
but
won't.
yeah, I mean, it's the love for the sport.
That's a
I mean, we
hundred
have
percent.
our ups and downs and the
Yeah.
days where you'd like, you know, what, I can't do this anymore, and I'm not gonna do this anymore. And
Right.
then the next day comes like, okay, I'm going
Yeah.
back.
I think the golfers will understand that very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a comment for you from Amelia, and it's going to be awesome to
Okay.
see her at the comp. She's saying the son one of the best at front carries.
Yeah. I did very well with the circle walk at the SC event 2023.
Okay, fantastic. That's awesome. We're looking forward at watching you compete. So what I wanted to chat to you about is, and I think it's so important for members of the public to get into the sport, to watch, to see, to bring kids, to make it a family day. What is the value, do you think, for the spectators with watching and being at a strongman competition?
Um, Being there and watching it, I mean, for them, it's a sight to behold. One,
Mhm.
and then also the experience of being there, and then it's I don't know how to explain it, but being there and watching it and
Mm.
seeing what people can do
Yes.
is just it's mind bending. And then I mean, if it can convince people to come forth and try it out and then carry on doing it, by all means. But the biggest problem we're facing with strongmen in South Africa, in my opinion,
Mm.
is the exposure to it.
Yes.
There's not a lot of exposure for the strongman community, should I say?
And exposure is what drives growth because it brings in sponsorship,
Yes,
it brings in support, it brings in funding. And these are the things that a sport needs to grow.
yes, so definitely. And then we don't. Well, we do have it, but there's not a lot of it.
Mm, mm,
And also with competitors as well, there's like a handful of us in South Africa that do love the sport. I mean, we've had at the gym I train with Jan. I mean, we've had guys coming and going like you can't believe, and
mm,
there's
mm.
just no commitment to the sport.
What do you think it is about strongman? Because I think it's one of the toughest sports out there. And it takes a lot of commitment and I think a lot of mental strength and mental fortitude.
Uh, Besides mental strength, I mean, everyone's. Well, I get a lot of comments saying, you must stop doing this because you're gonna hurt yourself, or you're
Right.
gonna hurt
Yeah.
your back, or you're gonna. And I think that's everyone's biggest fear. You're gonna
Mm.
get hurt.
Yeah, but you can't live your life worrying about getting hurt. I think
Exactly. I mean,
yeah, and I think the sport has proven itself over the years that you can do it safely, but any elite level sport there's going to be risk because you're pushing your
yes,
body to that limit, and that if you want to be an elite level athlete, that's what you accept, and it's part and
I mean,
parcel of the game, right?
yes. There's no risk without the reward.
Yeah, that's it. Love that. There is no risk. Well, there's no reward
That's
without the risk.
reward
You know,
without the risk.
the
Yeah,
risk.
yeah.
100%. Well, and then listen, there's no risk without the reward because you wouldn't risk what you had to risk if there wasn't a reward at the end
Yeah.
of the day. And I think it's a battle against living an ordinary life, and it's an opportunity to not live an ordinary life, which is
Yes.
absolutely
I mean,
wonderful.
everyone's focused on uh, how do I say this?
Mm,
Everyone's focused on doing what everybody else is doing, living a normal life, going to work, coming home,
mm, mm. Oy,
wife,
no.
kids,
Yeah,
family.
yeah, yeah.
But to do strongman, you have to be slightly but abnormal.
Yeah. But I think with any elite, listen, I think strongman, from having chatted with you guys over the last couple of days, I think I'm going to say strongman in particular, absolutely. But I think at any elite level of sport, there has to be something perhaps abnormal about you because normal
Yeah.
normal people don't have that commitment. And I think, it just you made me think back to some of my martial arts days, and I was very fortunate enough to train with a gentleman by the name of Dion Franceman, and Dion was one of the
Okay.
top fighters in the world, full contact, and not
Mm.
stuff you do in. It's not stuff that you would do in front of the public. This is no holds bar
Yeah, yeah,
fighting, and you'd be even training eye gouges and groin, and it would be very, very hard fighting. In training, you wouldn't be
yeah, yeah.
gouging out ours, but it would be very, very hard. And we would get guys coming into the gym who believed they were capable fighters, that had been in other environments, maybe where they were the best. And then suddenly they got humbled very, very quickly. And what
Quickly,
happened,
yes.
unfortunately, and I was chatting to David Bezaidnote just before you, he spoke about getting humbled very quickly, where he was the strongest guy in his gym, but when he started training with strong men, he got humbled quickly. And it takes a particular individual to get humbled and then want more, to want to come back and
Yes.
say, "Oh, this is amazing. I'm at the bottom of the pile here. I can grow so much," rather than coming in
Mm.
with your ego and believing that you're the best, getting the daylights knocked out of you, realizing that you're not, you know, and then not coming back. And I think I'd just like to get your thoughts on that.
I mean, look, a lot of guys that do go to the gym, they think they're strong. They've got a big bench and
Mm,
whatever. But then you come and try strongman, and it humbles you in such a way. It makes you feel like, I can't do this.
mm,
But you have to have the passion to come back and say,
yeah,
I'm going to do it, and I will do it.
that's it.
And it's a constant battle every day.
100%. And I think that's
It's a constant battle.
yeah, that's such a valid point, and it's about you've got to throw the switch, right, and say, okay, I'm going to come back and I'm going to try this and I'm going to work, because it's not no one in strongman, from what I've learned from you guys, started out super strong. You might have been strong, but it's the constant work and the respect within the community, the sense that I've gotten comes from the respect from one another, knowing how hard you've had to work to get to where you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's 100%. There's a lot of work. I mean, there's been days where any strongman will tell you, there's been days where you you're on top of your game, you PB'd on your deadlift, PB'd on your squats on the log, and then you come back the following week and you're like, okay, what happened here? You've
Yeah.
gone back down.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, this is not right. I'm not gonna do this. And then you come back next week and then no, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster.
That's emotional, mentally, physically, but you keep pushing on it,
Yes,
and eventually that roller coaster heads up. I think,
yeah,
yeah. And I think it just, for me, what I would love to see within the sport is certain schools adopting it and adopting the disciplines and the different events in safe and appropriate ways, because, you can train log press with a PVC pipe and where the log
yes,
doesn't, but just learn the movements. One of my
yeah,
favorite sessions, I went to a retirement home and I taught the guys in the home Olympic lifting, and some of them were sitting in chairs and doing it, but they were doing it with PVC pipes. And whether there was the physical benefit, they were all doing it together and loving it. So I think strongman being introduced into schools would be such a wonderful thing, along with powerlifting, to help kids develop that understanding that you need commitment to something.
yeah. No, definitely. Because if you look at the schools in America,
Mm,
they've got Olympic weightlifting, they've got powerlifting, and that's where it starts.
yeah.
That's basically your fundamentals of strongman, and then from there it just progresses. But we are busy playing rugby and cricket.
Should be doing both. But I think,
Yeah.
strongman has saved many rugby players' futures who haven't been able to pursue their careers, and it's given them something to do. I think powerlifting and strongman, from speaking to the guys,
Mm,
where, you had a dream as a kid. Like every kid wants that green and gold, but if you're not able to get it for
yes.
whatever reason, you can perform at international level in strongman or in powerlifting.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I played cricket in school. I
Mm,
played volleyball, and it wasn't for me. And
Yeah.
then until I met this guy JP, and okay, I've got the taste of strongman. I know what it is. I never lost it, and then now with Jan, we're growing every day.
That's all. That I mean, there's no greater gift really that we can give ourselves is the opportunity
Yeah,
to
no, true.
grow every day. You know, it's such a wonderful, wonderful thing. One of the things that I wanted to ask you is for your future and career. Are there any sort of things that you have your goals set on that you would like to achieve within your career? I know you're in the quite early, but I think looking to the future, what would you like to do?
I mean, with any strongman, he's gonna tell you it's
Yeah.
world's
Well,
strongest
world's
man.
strongest
So
man. Yep.
world's strongest man.
Yeah, cool.
That's
Perfect.
the main goal.
Okay, 100%.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
To bring it back a little bit for Saturday, anything in particular that you're wanting to do? Anything you can talk about or share?
Okay. Saturday, I'm looking forward to the truck pull. That's
Hmm.
one of my favorite events. The yoke and farmers. So I'm hoping I can get the yoke and farmers.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise just go out and have some fun.
And have some fun. It's
Have some
such a
fun.
great, yeah, such a great bunch of guys. What is it about the community that you love? You know, what are your favorite things about the community?
Um, the basic, the general respect you get from everybody. You
Mm.
know, no one's. You can go and speak to anyone, and then you'll get advice from everybody, and they'll tell you try this, try that. You know, everybody wants you to do your best, and they're always looking out for you to do your best, and you just can't beat that.
No, absolutely. You can't beat that. I mean, it's just a very special environment to be. It's a healthy environment. It's a brotherhood, it's
Mm.
a sisterhood, and it's an environment of growth, of very good personal growth. For the
No, 100%.
uh, what do you think the spectators can expect from this weekend, and why should people come out and support? You know, we've covered that a little bit. I just want to, we can go into that a bit more. And then what I also wanted to know from you is how valuable is noise from the spectators for you?
Very valuable.
Yeah.
I mean, the more noise you hear from the crowd, the more it amps you up to go the distance or
Mhm.
lift heavier or try a heavier weight. So
Awesome.
support from the crowd it's big. It's big.
So,
But yeah, they can look forward to some heavy lifts on the
mhm,
deadlift. The truck pull, log lift will be quite exciting. The farmers and yoke will also be quite exciting. Loading medley, it's a nice race for
mhm.
them to watch as well.
Okay.
So a
And
fun full day.
they must bring their throat lozenges and they must bring their noise. We, yeah,
Yes, and if it's a bit cold, they can bring a bit of brandy.
yeah, bring a bit of brandy.
The
Absolutely.
brandy helps with the noise.
The brandy help 100%. You need to find the
Yeah,
balance between noise and fighting because we know what South Africans are
yeah.
like with brandy.
Well, I
Uh,
don't think anyone's going to cause a fight there.
no,
So
absolutely. Well, no,
yeah,
there's going to be a ton of there's going to be a ton of security. It's going to be a really safe
yeah.
environment for kids, for families, for groups, and I don't think anyone wants to cause, excuse my language, cause cuck at a strongman event.
Definitely,
I think
they wouldn't want to do
no, yeah, I think
that.
they'll get thrown over the wall into the river. So yeah, absolutely, it's a very, very safe and
But
appropriate
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. But I think I would love to see so much noise being made that we get a phone call from the guys at the Durban July going, "Can you keep it down? The horses can't hear the start gun." Yeah,
Yeah, that would be a good one.
that'll be something very, very
That would
special.
be, yeah, definitely.
So just I've got four questions that I like to ask athletes and coaches that we chat to on this series. Three of them are a bit of fun. One is a little bit more serious, but we'll start off with a fun one. Nothing too serious. But what do you love about strongman?
Um, it just pushes you to your limits,
Yeah,
makes you find new limits within yourself, and it carries through with your everyday tasks and
yeah.
work and things like that. So
You
it's
become the best version of yourself, right? And keep
yes,
evolving that show. I mean, and that's a wonderful gift to
yeah,
give yourself. Love that.
yeah.
For you, what and again on a light-hearted note, what drives you mad about strongman?
The ups and the downs, the roller
Okay.
coaster.
That roller coaster. Okay.
That roller coaster.
It's an unstable friend. Uh,
It's up and it's down and
yeah.
it's flying
Uh,
and then
yeah.
back down on the ground.
Yeah. You're in an abusive relationship, Desan.
Yeah, you just don't want to leave though.
Yeah, 100%. So that leads into my next question. Absolutely. What has
Mm.
strongman given you?
Uh, it's given me a sense of direction, a new lease on the way I look at things.
Sure.
So it's helped me a lot mentally,
Okay.
but yeah, it's,
Very
it's brought
cool.
me back down to
Sure.
earth.
Very, very cool. It's a wonderful way to stay humble and keep growing.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
that's definite.
So we have a comment from a young gentleman by the name of Dean Shelley. Strongman. Let's see what Dean has to say. Yeah. If you're cute. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
What it says there?
If you shoot, I believe. CH, yeah, CH, tooth. Oh, if you tooth.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, yeah, that's the Indian slang.
Okay, all right, cool. What does that
Yeah,
mean? Can we talk about that on the podcast without getting into trouble?
basically calling me his backside or
Okay.
our backside.
He's just trying to get you fired up
Yeah.
for the comp. Fantastic. I love it. You know, and I think it's that's such a lesson here for a healthy life and a healthy view on the world, because good banter between friends, you know, chaffing one another, it's such a healthy thing to do. No one's getting upset, no one's getting offended, you know. And I think there was a study that showed that the more men rip one another off, the closer the relationship and the connection. And something very
Yeah,
cool, yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Well,
no, definitely. I mean, if you hear the way some of us talk to each other, you're like, shit, these guys are at it again.
100%. But then you end up lending one another equipment when they need it during the comp,
It's
right? Yeah.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
100%. That's
it's
always the
yeah.
case.
So Dean came with another one. Not you people you don't like. Okay, so I'm going to see what that. Fair enough. I think that's the polite version, right? So very,
Yeah.
very, very, very cool. Within strongman in South Africa, if we look at sort of where it's been, where it's come from, what would you like to see? What would your dreams be for the sport and for yourself as an athlete and a competitor? I know we mentioned, you know, winning world's strongest man, and we're looking forward to following your journey to that. What would you like to see for the sport?
Um, Definitely more exposure. I mean, the exposure helps a lot.
Hmm.
Helps the sport. Helps us competing in the sport. And the more exposure, the more events, the more people you have coming through, the more people wanting to try it out, more people competing.
So
So the exposure would be great.
then that's going to build up everything, build up the number of comps, the number of guys competing. Because I think that's the thing with high level athletes. You want as much competition as possible, right?
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. For yourself, are you based in Durban?
I'm in Richards Bay.
Okay, all right. So you're going to be driving down. When are you coming down?
Probably Friday afternoon.
Okay, all right. That's going to be enough time for the weigh in to rest and bring some fun on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean when you compete in open, there's no way in.
Oh yeah, that's also true. Sorry, yeah. Oddly,
Yeah.
I'm chatting to a certain gentleman tomorrow, and I mentioned that to you. He said, "No,
Okay.
opens don't have weigh in." So it's like, okay, so we can have
Yeah.
cheesecake when we do the interview. It's like, yeah.
Yes.
So that's just so I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So something not to stress about. I mean, that's really that's really a gift not having to deal with weigh-ins, because that's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
tough
you
part.
don't have to deal with the wings, but you have to deal with the weights that come your way.
Yeah, that's it. 100%.
Yeah,
You got a message here from Gregor. No weigh-in for us big boys. That's
yes, definitely.
yeah. For me, that was the thing that I loved about my powerlifting career. I think I started in the 83s, went to the 93s. And you can just keep eating yourself happy. You don't have to cut back
Yeah,
too much, and it's a wonderful thing.
I mean, who's happy? Who's not happy eating?
This is true. This is
Yeah,
absolutely her. And then we've got
yeah,
that's it. Habit eating makes me very very happy.
yeah.
And then we got another one from Greg. Let's go, Desan. Big love, brother. Bring it, boykies. There we go.
No, definitely. Yep.
Going to be brought. Oh, fantastic. Is there
Yeah.
anything you'd like to talk about or touch on just before we wrap up?
No, I think we covered everything there.
Yeah. It's been a, it's,
For me, the biggest thing with the strongman is we need more exposure
mhm.
in the country to get it to where we need it to be.
So we need everyone watching to share the videos, to share the link. It's going to be on our Emmet Media channel, on this channel, on YouTube, and we want to bring the numbers. I was telling the guys earlier,
Yeah.
we had 27,000 views when we did a stream for the comrades for a friend of mine in Umhlanga. And he was
Okay.
down there with an event. So we can really bring the numbers and grow the sport. And just to share it, we've got a young a South African gentleman who's at a powerlifting event. And he said, okay, he can't make it down. He's in Centurion, but he'll be watching it on his phone. So that's kind of cool. That at
Yeah.
a powerlifting comp and supporting the strongman. But if people can get there, they really need to come. You're coming down from Richards Bay. People don't have an excuse from Umhlanga. It's just up the road, right? When you were in Durban,
Yes.
wherever you are, get to
Yes.
the
No, no,
venue. It's going
wherever
to
you
be
are,
epic.
just coming by.
Yep, that's it. Come by,
Come here.
look, test drive a vehicle, test drive a truck, support the athletes, and have an absolute blast. So,
No, definitely.
yeah. Desan, speaking of having a blast, I've had an absolute blast chatting to you. Thank you for making yourself available so close to the competition. We greatly appreciate it.
No problem.
You're showing your
No problem.
support for the
Anytime.
sport as well. So, listen, have a good trip down. Be safe, and we look forward to
No,
meeting you in person at the
no,
comp. It's going to be a lot of
definitely.
fun. Huh?
All right. No, definitely. Thank you so much.
Only a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great evening, and we will see you on Saturday.
It's Saturday. No,
Awesome.
perfect. See you
Cool.
then.
Take care. Bye bye.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. What a fantastic athlete to chat to. Really, such energy and passion. And I've noticed that there's just this wonderful calmness about strongmen athletes. So we're really looking forward to an epic, epic day. We're going to start packing up now and getting ready to bring all the gear down and bring you guys an absolutely fantastic, fantastic stream. We've got two good interviews tomorrow, 10 a.m. with Keelan Mills, and then at 11 with Shan Janssen. So join us then for those. Probably, hopefully, going to be from Blueberry Cafe in Nottingham Road. We're going to leave super early to try and make it down there and in time, or to make it down there in time, and then bring you those interviews from that location. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support and messages, guys. And get to the venue. Get to NMI Commercial on Saturday. Lifting starts at 9 o'clock. If you can't make it, join us online. But share this with your friends, share this with your family. Let's support these amazing, amazing athletes. Let's support the organizers. Let's support the sponsors. I mean, NMI has done an incredible job. It's going to be the most amazing event. And we look forward to seeing you all there in person. You don't have to get dressed up fancy like the July. You don't have to spend money, on horses. You can come, hang out, get some great food, great time with family and friends. Bring your family, bring your friends, come and support the athletes. It's going to be an absolutely epic day. We look forward to chatting again with some phenomenal athletes tomorrow and having you joining us at 10 a.m. South African time. Thank you for your time from the Emmet Media studio here in Johannesburg. Until tomorrow on the road to Durban, my name is Nicholas Ingle. Thank you for joining us.